Welcome everyone to this video. This video is about making some seam binding to go around the neckline. So I am creating a couple of blouses, tops or whatever, and they have this square neckline at the top. So this is just one side of it, but it's the same on the other side. So it's a square neckline and it needs a seam binding to go along. This is a linen material. So I'm going to use some linen material. I also have one or two, I guess. I should have cut out two. I'll cut out one more. This is a little cotton material, and it is a polka dot material, but it has the same neckline. So I'm making these tops for my Etsy shop to sell on my Etsy shop. And you can see how it has the square neckline. This is the shoulder here, and then this is the neckline. So you can see how square it is. So we need a binding to go around that, because if we were to try to turn that under and to get a really nice finished edge, it wouldn't look that good because the way that it's cut. So we're gonna go ahead and create our own seam bindings. Now I made a black polka dotted one yesterday. Out of this material, and a small, this is a medium, so I have this one yet to finish up. But I just used a seam binding that is, you know, a store-bought seam binding. So it was a real small little seam binding that went around it. You know how seam bindings open up, they're folded and then they open up, so you can sew it and then flip it to the next side. So, so we're going to be creating that. And maybe not that small. So what I did is I took a strip of material. This is 1 1/4 inch wide material. So I'm just going to be folding it in half. So we want to fold it in half. I'm hoping my iron will reach over here. I'm not positive. I may have to go over here a little bit. So I'm just going to be folding it in half and pressing it so it has a nice crisp fold on it all the way along. So when it does, sorry about the iron in the way and in the video, but I want to show you how to do this. So we're going to go ahead and finish the length of this. It's not too long. This is a Pacific industrial iron that I'm using. I love it. It works great. Okay, so now we have the fold. We have it, you know, where it's a nice crisp fold there. All right, now we're going to take these two pieces before the fold. So we're going to fold it like that. We're going to fold it into the indention of the fold. So we're going to fold both sides in like that and press it, and we'll have a seam binding about the size of this. So what is it? It's about 3/8. So it's 3/8 of an inch. So we started off with 1 1/4 inch, and now we're going to go ahead and press in those folds. And you have to be a little bit careful that you don't get into the other side when you're doing one side, because if you do, then it may kind of mess you up. So you want to just go along one side first. Don't try to do both sides, and then you would press out your crease of what you just did. So you want to make sure you just go along and press it. And this way, instead of using a solid color on the neckline, this will actually be the same material as the blouse. It will look more professional. It will look like it actually goes with the blouse. So it's nice to do things like that. So it, you know, is the material already and it matches perfectly. And so we're going to use it. So I'm almost getting close to the edge here. Don't want to go over too much. If I had a better setup here, I'm trying to do this from my machine so you can actually see it. Okay, so now we want to turn it over, and then we want to do the same thing on this other side. So we want to start over here. I have to scoot it down here a little bit so my iron reaches. It's hooked to the wall with a gravity feed water bottle, so it won't like go too far. So we have to do what we can do, right? So yeah, so we're pressing this other side down, and then we'll go back and we'll press that crease back in there halfway again, because we are touching the crease as we go along, because the way that my iron is positioned is the reason. Otherwise, I would just take the tip of my iron, but it's very hard to do. And this iron is very hot. Okay. I apologize for my pressing board here being a little bit dirty. I haven't been in my shop for a long time, really working like this on actual clothing. So I have to go and re-clean and recover my pressing board. I want to recover my pressing table. I have another cutting table that I usually have in here for cutting out patterns and things, and I took it out because we were making masks and things, and we had some other people in here helping, and just so we have more room, so we have it in the room next door to this sewing shop. So we're going to bring it back in, and that way we'll be able to start sewing and doing some actual patterns and things in video, so you can learn how to make some things. And so you want to subscribe to this channel, because I'm going to be on more and more creating and making things, and that it can help you along to learn the techniques to do different tasks in sewing, and so you're able to make some things yourself. So okay, so now we have it all folded. So there's our crease, and then here are our two pieces that we folded, right? So when we go to sew, we're going to sew in the one ditch here. We're going to sew in this, call it the ditch. We're going to sew in the first ditch here, and then we'll flip this other portion to the back side. So yeah, so you have it. So we have our nice polka dotted seam binding for one, and we will have to cut out another one, but we're going to go ahead and do the one, this linen one. We have to make sure that we have the right side, and we're just going to fold it over halfway. Get it down here, go all the way along halfway. It makes it much easier when you have the fold set in place before you go to sew it. This way you know exactly what portion you're sewing, and it just works out really nice. It's hard to grab and to fold as you're sewing sometimes, so it's nice when you have your binding already pre-folded for you. It really goes much faster. If we were doing it all by hand, we would be fumbling around with it. It'll take too long. Okay, so now we have our fold again. Here's our ditch, the middle ditch. And now we're just going to take one side and fold it back. So we have the raw edges are inside the seam binding, so the raw edges will not be showing. And I'm going to try a little harder. Ooh, that gets hot. I probably don't even need to push the steam button. That would help. This iron is hot enough to be able to just push it along, and it would make the fold without pushing the steam and burning my fingers. Did that on accident, really. Okay, and we're just going to continue a little more. It's a little bit of time. It takes time, but it will be a much nicer job than trying to, trying to match it up with a seam binding, and we get all these different colors of tan. If you've been sewing for a while, you know what I mean. You get so many different colors of tan, and even black to say. There's all different colors of blacks, and yeah. So okay, I'm going to do the other side now. Hope you're still with me. I'm going to do the other side. All right. So all the raw edge is encased inside the seam binding, and we're going to have a nice factory edge looking seam bodice, or neckline, I should say, on the neckline. Okay, we're almost to the end, right? So here we go. I apologize for the iron to be in the video. All right, we're just going along, finishing it up. Almost to the end. And this iron is probably about, it's either 3.5 pounds or it's 5 pounds. I forget. I think this one is 3.5, if I'm correct. I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I think I am. In my tailoring business for 25 years, I went back and forth with different irons. So they last you probably, depending on how busy you are and how much you use it, they can last anywhere from, 3 to 5 years to 6 or 7 years. It just depends, on how much it's used or abused or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, so I would buy the Sussman iron, the other one, and I know that that one is a 5-pound iron, and it's a little bit heavier than this one. It will really work up your muscles, and you have to get used to it after a while. If you're not used to a weighted iron, and then when you start doing commercial work and you do invest in a commercial iron, it's a little hard on your muscles at first, you have to get a little used to it, but you do. And so yeah, but I like my industrial iron. I wouldn't go back to a home iron. I do for some crafts and different things because I don't want to get glue on this iron. This iron has a Teflon shoe on it, so it doesn't stick, but you still have to use a press cloth when you're doing interfacing and different things like that. You want to make sure that you protect the iron as much as you can, because if you forget that you have interfacing glue on the bottom of it and you go to press something white or press something light colored, it can bring that glue and put it on to your garment. So you have to be very careful when using your iron, and especially when you are working on other people's garments that I have done for 25 years or more, I should say, more, I guess. Even after the 25 years, I was still getting calls, and once in a while I would do something just out of the kindness of my heart. But here lately, I haven't taken in any alterations whatsoever. So I'm getting more into my coaching, which I really love. I love helping people to be able to bring their business to the online marketplaces, and to be able to either start a little business, or to be able to open a shop online, or to bring their brick and mortar business to the online market space. A lot of people have a brick and mortar place, and now with the COVID, they're wanting to, make it a home business. So you have people doing that as well. So that's really, what I wanted to show you today is how to make these bindings, because see, here's the one with the linen. So it's nice. You have your crisp middle center fold, and then you have your 2 raw edges inside here. See, they're encased inside here, and then it folds like that, and then you have a nice slick binding that all the raw edges are hidden, and it's fairly nice. And this way it will match the garment. So this one will go with this here blouse, this top. This is a large, and so we will be starting, somewhere here in the back we'll start. But look how nice that's going to look, instead of, choosing another binding that really doesn't match. So look how nice that's going to look. Get my little raw edge in there. With linen, it unravels really quick. But look how nice that's going to look. it matches, you know, it matches it. It's perfect. It's going to look more professional when I get it done. So, so yeah, so that's what I'm going to be working on today. I'm going to be sewing these bindings on and getting these tops ready to list on my marketplace. And then this one, let me show you how this one, and I have to cut another one of this up so I can stay on video while we cut that other one out. So in this polka dot material, I made 2 mediums. So, and then let me turn it to the right side. This is the wrong side, so right sides together, always right sides together. Okay, so this is the neckline of this one. And then when we go to put this, got a little fuzz, a little cotton. When we go to put this binding on, it would look so much nicer. I would never find this color tan binding perfectly, no way. And the white would just really stand out. But when we go to put this on, this is really going to make it look designer. It's going to make it look professional. Look at that. That is going to be sweet. So, so cute. Okay, so that way it knows that you took a little bit more time with it. I see a little pink shade. I don't know what that is on my garment. I don't know. Hopefully it will wash out because I want to sell this. So, all right, we're going to put the right sides back together and fold this back up and try to keep our things nice and neat. So we have this one is a medium and this one is a medium. So we're going to go ahead and cut out our other seam binding because I only cut out one. I don't know what I was thinking. Cut out one. And then these are the ties. So this is going to be a wraparound top. And so this is the tie. It will tie in the front. And then this is, so I have 4 here. So for 2. So on each side of the garment, it has a tie like that. And then it will tie in the middle with a bow. Okay. And then it also has ties that go on each side to tie in the back first. So it ties in the back and then it ties in the front. Okay. So then we have the same thing for our, let me fold that up nice. For our tan one, and I'll probably sew this tan one. Let's see, I have black thread on, so I always do that when and knowing that from business, I look at what color thread I have on, so that's how I start my day. So okay, I have black on, so okay, so what needs to be done that's black today, you know? So that's what I learned. It saves me time instead of changing the thread and then change it back to black again. Okay, so this is the linen one, so that's our tie for the front. These are our ties for the back, okay, and we have that. And then we have our neck seam binding, okay, so we have that one, and we're going to put that on the bottom. We'll probably sew that one last. It's a large, size large. We'll sew that one last. And then this one is what we'll sew first because we have black on. So I'm just going to fold it with the right sides. And then when you fold it with the right sides and where it's just sitting, in case anything gets on it, at least it's on the wrong side of the material, not on the actual front of the fabric. Okay, and then here are our back ties. Okay, so we're going to put those here. And then I'm going to put this with our polka dot tan one. We'll be sewing that second. Okay, and then we need to cut out one more, if I have the material. Yes, I do, right here. Okay, so I'll show you what I did. So I just went ahead and I want to make sure that I have a real nice cut line here. I've already cut from this line. It's matched up pretty nice all the way along. Just have to get it back to where it was. And to make sure that you have it there. So it's really nice. And then I just took my ruler, and I need to sharpen my chalk, but I went ahead and just marked along here. So we're going to go along this edge because it's cut straighter than this other edge, and it'll be just fine. So I went and I marked it 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.25 inches. And then I just kind of connect the dots. So I put my ruler along here to make a nice line. And it's really hard to show up on this light material. And then where are my other lines? Here and there. And then I just make my line. Okay, set that aside. And then I just go ahead and cut. Oop, goofed just a little bit. Gotta be careful. It'll be inside anyway, it'll be just fine. Okay, so then I have my other seam binding for the neck, and then this raw, salvage edge, I'm just going to snip that off, okay? So that for sure will not get into anywhere in the garment. You don't want that salvage to show. Okay, I'm gonna bring my pressing board back over, and I'm gonna go ahead and press this one, so that way it's done also, okay? So you can, yeah, I gotta redo my board. I apologize for that. I usually always keep it really nice and clean. Put a new fresh white one on here. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my iron and I'm going to press the fold in. Start out and make sure the top is perfect. You gotta start out straight to finish straight, right? All right, and we're just pressing in the folds. We're just turning it one time for right now and pressing all the way along there. Okay, and then I'll put it here. You see a little bit? Hopefully. We're going to go along here and press in our seam binding. Now, if you were making belt loops or something like that, where you press and you could do it the same way here and then top stitch the belt loop, you would want to put interfacing on here. But since this is just going to be the, you know, on the neckline, you really don't need interfacing. You wouldn't want it to be stiff, too stiff. You could put a lightweight one if you wanted to, but it's not necessary because you're folding in both of these edges. That's going to give it some stability. So now I'm pressing just one side of the raw edge over, okay, to the fold. So we're just going to go along there, trying not to burn my fingers, just going along, matching it up with the center fold, your raw edge, and just go along nice and easy so it gets pressed in there. Okay. All right. And then we're going to finish, so you can see it there. We pressed one side. Go just a little bit more. We might be able to get the whole thing on here. Okay. So we're going to come back here and then start here where we left off. And go along. Okay. All the way along. There. Now we're going to flip the sides. We're going to flip it this way. And then we're going to do the other side, okay? So we're going to flip the other raw edge into the middle, into the fold, center fold. So both raw edges are actually meeting in the middle. Like that. You want to keep it pretty even and straight if you can. You see that it starts to get a little bit narrow or different width. Try to correct it as you go. Try to do it perfectly. That's what makes a nice job. If you take your time, you do things perfect if you can, and then it turns out to be fabulous, right? I really miss sewing. I haven't been sewing for about 2 years. I've been off doing my coaching and helping other people to get their products on the online marketplace, on Etsy and other markets. And so my shops have kind of been a little neglected. I do have stuff on there, but it doesn't look like how I want it to look. And so I have a lot of tweaking and things to do on my shop. So I'm trying to get my shops loaded. And I also sell on other markets other than Etsy. So you know, I have quite a few different markets that I put things on. So so you're selling every day, you know, you're selling something every day. That makes a little bit of an income, so you can, you know, and then when we do other things, my husband also sells, so then when he does things, then he can make a little side income. And then when he retires, he can make a full-time income. So right now, he's just trying to get to his retirement. It's coming up before you know it. I have a long way to go to retire, so. Okay, and then we have just a little bit on the tip here to fold. Okay, this is going to be just gorgeous. I cannot wait to get to the lighter colored ones. I'm not a fan of working on black material. I do, but I'm not a fan of it. And so yeah, so now we have our other polka dotted one. So there's our center crease. This is the right side. And then this is the inside portion. So this is your crease here in the middle. And these are your two raw edges. And then you unfold them. And it's like that, what we started off with. And then you got the raw edge there and the raw edge there. They meet in the middle. And then it's folded again. And that's what gives you a nice seam binding. So this is a really small 3/8 inch seam binding because I didn't want anything real large or to stand out on the neckline. But if you wanted to use the seam binding as, maybe this would be fine and perfect for finishing seams. You know, if you're making a jacket without lining and you want to finish the seams, this would be a great way to do it. Or if you are using a seam binding and you need it a little bit wider, maybe you're lengthening up a pair of pants or something in that nature, then you would want it to be a little bit wider. And the reason you'd want it to be a little bit wider is it will have a little bit more material, and that material would add a little weight to the bottom of the pant. And then that way it will drape, the pant will drape nice. So it will really, you know, make the pant hang a lot better. So you want to think about those things when you go to use different seam bindings. The reason why people go with a wider seam binding versus a small seam binding and things like that. So yeah, so I think I've, you know, mentioned a lot about seam binding today, so I am going to end the video now. So thank you so much, and let me know if you like this video or not. I will make more and more videos, sewing videos. Just let me know what you're interested in and what helps you or what would help you, and I'd be happy to you know, download some more videos for you. So thanks so much. Again, my name was Karen Eiton. I am a business coach, and I help entrepreneurs and small businesses to bring their businesses online, to scale their business with certain tools that they can use a little bit more of automation type things to be able to stay in touch with their clients and to do some marketing and some promoting and things like that. So we walk you through the whole process of, you know, starting a business or starting an Etsy shop that can get you up and get you running. Okay, so thanks so much. Reach out to me if you need any help, and also go ahead and subscribe to this channel. You'll get notified when I post new videos every week. On Mondays, I usually post a business video and different tips about Etsy or business, and now I'm starting to post more sewing videos. So go ahead and, you know, subscribe to this channel, and I look forward to, you know, talking to you and getting to know you too. Okay? Thanks so much. Bye-bye.